Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we are bringing balance to the world. Guess what? We're doing it one household at a time. And today we have with us our very special guest. And this woman, wait until you hear all that she's bringing to the world to make it a better place. We have Monique Stubbs. How are you, Monique?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
You know what? My life is just better because you're in it. I promise you, I feel like my spirit is uplifted whenever I'm even in your virtual presence, you know?
Oh, that's beautiful. I feel the same way though.
And I know here, everybody that's tuning in, we are balancing life in real time. So sometimes you'll see us in different facets in the car, at the grocery store, at the art gallery, you name it. We're everywhere because that's what life is all about, being able to just balance it and doing it the way that God intends for us to salt this earth. So I'm really glad to have you here today, Monique.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
All right, y'all, listen, grab your virtual seats. Make sure you I see all of you all already hopping in. I want you all to be active participants. So make sure that you type any comments, questions, and anything that you'd like to learn from our guest today. We will definitely do everything we can to get it answered. Today, we're talking about how to just get unclogged, how to unclog your life. And that's a whole training in itself, a conference. This woman does a conference pertaining to it. But from a visual perspective, I know many of you hear it on the radio broadcast, but from a visual perspective, she actually has a plunger. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. But let me introduce our special guest that's here with us. Monique Stubbs-Hall is a multifaceted leader whose career seamlessly blends entrepreneurship, community advocacy, and personal development. She has over 3 decades of experience in hospitality sales, management, and business development. She has honed a unique ability to inspire and empower individuals and organizations alike. And her journey it's a testament to resilience, purpose, and transformative power. This woman is a force to be reckoned with, a storyteller. And everything that she does is masterfully weaved together. I'm not going to go through every detail because I want her to share her own life's journey with you. But welcome, Monique Stubbs-Hall, to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to give you a chance to talk now so that we can just learn more about you. There's so much to you. We know you from this professional woman that brings such grace and dignity and integrity and style and compassion. I could go on and on and on with adjectives to this world. But really, if you would just take us back and just talk to us about where did some things begin for Monique back in the day? Where did your life really start to take shape to become who you are today?
So, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I love some intentional and meaningful conversations. So this is beautiful. I'm going to go all the way back to my youth and my upbringing, because that is my foundation. That's where it all starts, right? So I am a native of Nassau, Bahamas. So, I tell people I'm a Bahama mama. And so when my family migrated to the United States, we moved to an area called Columbia, Maryland.
Okay.
What I can say, at the time I was 7, and my parents always made sure we maintained our love of culture and our understanding, our upbringing and background.
Okay.
being from the islands, and that was always something important. But what I came from was a family, a father and mother, and I have a sister. And my parents were very, very, very strict when
Mm,
it came to specific things. One, they were definitely a spiritual people,
mm,
individuals, and they instilled that in us. And so, therefore, there was high moral standards. And when it came to our presence,
yes.
and how my dad wanted to see his family show up,
Mm.
that was extremely important to him. I mean, so much so that my dad would say, um, tell my mom, when we go out, the girls can wear 4 pieces of jewelry and earrings count as two.
Oh,
So he was that specific. 1, 2, or 3 ponytails, not a whole bunch of boobles, bobbles,
oh,
and bops.
okay.
Okay. And when we traveled, we couldn't just get on an airplane in some shorts. And I'm talking about we were little girls. We
Right.
couldn't get on the airplane in shorts and t-shirts and whatever. No. We had our dresses, our bobby socks, and our patent leathers. Okay. So my dad he was suited and tied, and my mother had on her cute little dress. And what I learned early in my life was that how we show up
Yes.
makes a difference, because as a family, somehow we would always end up in first class, even though we didn't pay for it, but it was our presentation. And I
Yes.
learned very early that it really does matter.
Yes, it
And so that was the standard. My dad used to make us, he had the old school, remember the old school tape recorders that had the microphone with the big ball? And
yes.
he would plug the microphone into the tape recorder, and he would make us read. I was 7, my sister was 4. We had to
Wow.
read into the microphone. He would play it back, and he said, "Now, when you got to the period, what did you do? Did you stop? What do you do when you come to a comma? Did you
Mm,
pause?" Right? So that's how they taught us proper speech,
that's
proper
good.
diction. And this is how, to this day,
Mm,
people laugh at me because they're like, "Monique, you speak so properly." And I'm like,
right.
that's how I was brought up. Like, I was trained on how
Wow.
to speak and
Mm,
how to master this English language
mm,
in a dignified manner, right?
that's good.
So this is the foundation.
Mm,
So who I am today is who I've always been since I was 7 years old,
mm.
because this is the example that I had. Entrepreneurship, because my dad opened his first architectural firm when he was 21 years old.
Get
My mother worked in that architectural firm with him,
out. Mm,
and they worked together in business all the way until they retired their business when they went on a religious sabbatical. So uh, I I have a love
mm.
for showing up with a standard of excellence, and I do it unapologetically. I will never change who I am because it is my foundation.
Oh, I feel like I know your family at this point. I appreciate your parents and the fact that at an early age when you didn't know that it would matter so much at this phase of your journey, that they were grooming you. Even we
Yep.
talk a lot about grooming greatness because that's what you are really rooted in, but grooming greatness came from your true foundation. Your parents saw something in you that they saw that was futuristic, that you would have never known that you were being molded or shaped, uh, developed into becoming this great woman that you're going to become. Did you?
No, no, it's and because of how they instilled these qualities in us at such a young age, how we move and what we do and how we show up, it's natural.
Mm,
It's not, this
right.
isn't something we force. This isn't something we have to pretend.
Right.
This is who we are,
Mm,
because that is what was instilled in us early on. And it was the expectation, right?
That's good.
We have this standing joke in our family about how our dad took us to King's Dominion and he
Okay.
had a suit and tie on. And we were like, now daddy,
Please,
this is
Dad,
just
please.
extra. Okay. What are we doing? This is so embarrassing, right? My dad had this thing about when he steps out the threshold. And today he's 81, and when he steps out, he is suited and tied every day.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
just who he is. And so, but when we went to King's Dominion with this man, with this his suit that we're like, we're like at this point we're like preteen. We're like, Daddy, really? This is so
Please.
embarrassing. Are you really doing this? He said, well, you never know who you'll bump into. And he said,
Interesting.
and it would be a shame if the day that you bump into someone that could change the trajectory of your life,
Yeah.
you were not looking presentable and not confident enough
Mm.
to accept the opportunity. And that's just
Wow.
what he said. That's how it was. And
Now,
he didn't care. He was like, he was fine in his suit and tie at King's Dominion.
right. Now, Monique, I know this may be a really bizarre request, but if you can arrange for me to interview your dad and your mom, please, I promise you, it would be just such a great honor. Or better yet, you interview them because there might be some things happening in your own future that you can. We'll talk about that off camera. But
Yeah.
let me tell you, this is a story to be told. It reminds me of a Lifetime movie based on true events, but in a great way. Not some
Mhm.
horror story, but one where a family parents groomed greatness. And
Mhm.
here the outcome is so telling and true that if you utilize these principles at an early age, it can really change the trajectory of the child's life. So how important is that for parents today that you may minister to or teach to be able to instill similar principles like your parents did with you?
Yeah, I mean it's just so important to me. I mean, we are living in a society where our youth would look at me and say, "You're just so old fashioned," You're just so, they like to say that.
Right.
And I said, if holding to a standard of excellence
Right.
is old fashioned, I will be old fashioned all day
Mm,
long, because here's what I know. What I know is that it makes a difference how you show up.
that's right.
I have an opportunity to be in rooms that I would not have an opportunity to be in rooms if people couldn't figure out how I would show up,
That's
right?
right.
They know that I am consistent. They
Mhm,
know that they don't have to guess, will I be this way today or that way tomorrow?
mhm.
Is Miss Mo gonna walk in a suit and tie and heeled up today, and tomorrow she's gonna have on the club dress with her breasts hanging out and her bottom hanging out at the bottom? They don't have to worry about that,
Right.
because what they know is that every time she shows up for the past 35, 40 years of her adult life, she is consistent. And
That's
that's
about
what they know.
that's
And
about
so
the
that,
size of it right there.
yes, that's it. And so
That's
that right there allows people to feel comfortable with opening up doors of opportunity for you,
yeah,
because they know you're not going to turn out to be an embarrassment,
that's
right?
right.
They know that you move with excellence
Mm,
and that you deserve to be in those
mm,
rooms. And so I think it's a lesson. It's a lesson for parents in, despite what the world is saying with regards to attire and just you just got to be yourself. And so now we got young ladies walking around with no bras on, and you could see straight through their clothing, and because they're just being them. Well,
mm.
there's a time and a place. That's what I tell people.
Everything.
There is a time and a place for everything, right? And so
Yes.
if you say that you want your children to be in certain arenas,
Right.
then there's a standard, and it's okay.
Mm,
There's standards all around us. And so you have a choice.
mm.
Either you're gonna teach them that there is a time and a place for everything. That's biblical.
That's
Or you are gonna let them be loose and have certain opportunities
mm,
closed to them. And it's just what life is.
mm.
And And you can't be mad. A lot of times I talk to the youth and they say, well, you should just be able to do you. And I said, but you can do you.
Right.
But those corporations have the
Standards.
option to do them. And if they're doing them is not doing you because you want to do you and you don't want to adhere to a standard, you can't be mad. Go be an entrepreneur, you know, go and do something else where those kind of things would be acceptable.
That's right.
But just understand that they have a right to have standards too. They have a right to decide who they want to represent their brands,
That's right.
and you can't be mad about that.
I love the wisdom that you're sharing today. For those of you that may be just tuning in, we're talking today with Monique Stubbs-Hall, and we're talking about getting unclogged in life. How do you really maneuver your life to get your mind, your spirit, your heart, your body unclogged? And it starts really with a mindset. And so one of the things that I really value from you is you talk about mindset over money. Is there an instance that you can share when that really became a realization for you that this thing is not just about me making a dollar. This is about
Mhm.
beginning in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, as you're moving through life's journey, you have constant mind shifts that you have to make, right? Because when you're in your 20s, your perspective is different. I literally just wrote an article about this yesterday on Substack. When you're in your 20s, you have a certain perspective because you've only had but this much life that you've lived,
Right.
right? So your
Mm-hmm.
perspective is here. It's narrow, and you're seeing things from a 20s mindset. I mean, we already know the frontal part of your brain doesn't even develop till around 26. So you're
That's right.
definitely going to be looking at things from a different perspective. When you get into your 30s, you've now experienced a little life. Maybe you've been married, maybe you have a few children, and your career decisions tend to shift because now if you're have started a family, between childcare costs and all the things, you shift in the way you maneuver, and what you thought your future was going to be in the 20s. Now that you have a family, you realize some things end up changing.
Mm.
In your 40s, now you've got some life under you, and now your perspective and mindset is different. And then you
That's
you hit 50, and it is a whole nother game.
right.
It's a whole
Yes.
nother game because at 50, you realize that I have hit halfway, the halfway mark.
That's right.
And I only have X amount of years left on this earth. And how am I going to make them meaningful and as impactful? And then how am I going to begin building a legacy?
Mm.
That is what becomes important to you, because now you're on the halfway mark. Now I'm approaching 60, and my mindset is completely different because one, I'm just I'm unapologetic about who I am, what my journey is, what I want out of life, and I'm making it very clear that my peace is my primary objective,
That's
and
good.
that is non-negotiable, right? So mindset is just so huge, and I think that we have to get unclogged, so that we, depending on what our life's journey look like, and for most of us that are by this age, we've done been through some things,
A whole rack
and
of stuff.
a whole lot of stuff. And so as a result, we just see life differently, and we have to be able to pivot and recognize that things are important that are not. So my quote that says basically that um, a rich lifestyle has nothing to do with money, but
Nothing.
everything to do with meaningful relationships and mindset. And
Mhm.
the reason I say that is because when I was a single parent, thrown into my first single parent situation, after going through a separation divorce, it was tough. I had come from my parents' house into marriage.
Mm.
And I thought this was my forever. And I had three small children. And the first time in my life that I had to figure out how to survive on my own with three small children. And that stuff wasn't easy. It was hard, you
Yeah.
know? And so I remember those days when I had zero in my bank account. When I wasn't rock bottom, I was under the rock. Actually, when the bank account wasn't zero, it was negative,
Mm.
right? And so I talk about that when I speak to people, because I say, there are times in your life when you have to learn how to detach your happiness and joy from that bank account.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so in those years, I had to learn that, you know what, Monique, you may not have financially what you want, but you do have richness in your life. You
Yes.
have a beautiful family, beautiful children, to be grateful for, right? You have friends around you that are supportive. You have beautiful parents, right? And so I had to start thinking about the things I'm grateful for and the
That's right.
things that truly mean something, that make my life rich outside of what that bank account looks like. And if we didn't learn in COVID that you can have it today and it be gone like that, right?
Gone.
As
Right.
people were losing jobs and closing
Losing life.
businesses.
Over a million
Lo-
people.
exactly. And so if you haven't learned how to detach yourself and your joy and happiness
That's right.
from what that bank account says, it's a skill that I encourage you to work on, because tomorrow brings a whole new set of things that you might not even ever anticipate.
Mm.
And you have to learn that building meaningful relationships is really the superpower, not what
Yes.
is in your bank account.
That's beautiful, wise advice, and I everything that you were sharing, it resonated with me, because there are some times that I've been. I was homeless actually. When I consider a person homeless as a person that does not have a house to go to, and I
Mhm.
had my children, and so it's not always that everything's so far back in the past. It's some things that we go through on an ongoing basis, but everyone looking in may not know the details of your story, and still being
Right.
able to keep your wits about you, your professionalism, your joy, your peace is definitely a skill. How do you recommend people actually implement that skill set, or infuse that into their lives some kind of way, if they really don't know where to begin with that process?
I think there's a couple of things, right? I think it's one, learning what I always refer to as positive mirror talk, right? When I was going through some of my deepest, darkest times, and I mean, when I tell people, see, I'm very transparent. Like I have no reason to hide, the
Me
depths
either.
that I've been through. I've been through anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. I've been down all them roads, medication for all of those things. And just in order for me to survive, right?
Mm.
But one of the things that I used to do, I would force myself, no matter how much I hated doing it, but I would stand in front of the mirror and I would say, Monique, you are not your circumstances. You are not your circumstances. You are not your circumstances. Monique, this is temporary. This is temporary. This is temporary. Right. And so I had to keep feeding myself these positive affirmations, because when you have no one else around you to do that, you have to do it for yourself.
Mm.
Right. So mindset starts with how you view yourself, right? And so we have to take accountability for that. And whatever we got to tell ourselves, we got to write lipstick on the mirror and give ourselves those positive affirmations. If we got to record it on our phones, look, now we got technology. If we got to record it on our phones and play it back to ourselves, right? When we're feeling in those spaces, we got to keep feeding ourselves positive things. Secondly, is who are you around?
Mm. I'm typing over here. So if you see me doing stuff, because I'm actually a one-man show, one-woman show over here.
Choose your circle wisely. You know, that's always helped me, is that I've had a positive circle of influence, and I tend to associate myself with people who are where I would like to be.
Mm.
And so even though my circumstances may not look the way I want them to,
That's right.
you know, I'm not going to hang around people who are where I am. Because if I'm at rock bottom, well, I don't even say rock bottom. I always say I was under the rock. If I'm under the rock, right, and the rock is on top of me, I can't be around the people who are down in the dirt under the rock with me.
So we gotta get out of here. We have to get out of here.
To get out. So I gotta hang around the people who are on the other side of the rock and who are, you know, where I would like to be, or who've been through a similar journey as me, right, and have overcome and can now give me some resources, mm-hmm, some encouragement, you know, and can help direct me so that I can keep my head straight, right? Yes. In order for me to move from the circumstances I'm in into a more positive direction. So I would say it's how you talk to yourself, and secondly, who you choose to be around.
That's excellent advice. How you talk to yourself and who you surround yourself with. So who you choose to be around. I'm making sure, because later you want to make sure you can capture these notes. I am encouraging you to be taking notes on today's conversation, because when we do this show, we're talking about how to bring balance to the world, to bring balance into your household. And we're doing that with wonderful guests like Monique Stubbs-Hall. Vicki L. Evans is on, and she said, hey, it took me 46 years to discover my worth. I'm now 66 years old, and nothing or no one will make me doubt me now. She never doubts herself now. Any comment you want to say to that?
Yeah, Vicki, I know Vicki. Vicki, that's amen to that. Amen to that. And so, you know, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's how we speak to ourselves, what we pour into ourselves, regardless of what other people think, regardless of. I am in a space in my life now, and I know Vicki's on the same page. Is that I really don't care whether someone agrees with me, doesn't agree with me, how they feel about me. Well, it doesn't matter, because what matters is how I feel about myself and what I know about me. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's what I know to be the truth about me. So you can be out there feeding all kind of lies about who I am and this and that and that. You don't know me then.
That's right.
You don't know me. I know me. I know my value. I know my worth. And I don't even have to try to justify it. I'm in a space where I'm just not interested in that. That's not even a conversation. Why do I need to justify who I am? If you have a problem with me and you need all these explanations, it's not the energy I need to even be around, because right now you're interfering with my peace. I just don't have the energy for that anymore. I mean, you know, back in my 30s and 40s, maybe I worried about those kind of things, but no more. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Completely.
I'm with you, Vicki.
And I'm with you guys too. So it must be some kind of club that we can be in, a sister value, keep the peace club. I don't know what you want to call it. Put that as part of your Unclogged conference, because we have to keep the peace. And I want to know where that space is for me to feel comfortable to just detach, unmask, whatever you need to do to make sure that we're just being here now. I talk a lot about that in a book that I wrote. Anyway, your book. Let's talk about your book. Your book, Unclogged, targeting the top 10 mindset cloggers to business success. Monique Douglas. You have, that's what the author name there is. That's her stage name. But anyway, because everybody got a different little, stage name thing. But it's really Monique Stubbs-Hall. That's her government name, y'all. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So talk to us about the concept behind this book, Unclogged, and what you want readers to take away from it.
Yeah, I've been coaching women in business and a few good men for actually uh 30 years, 30 a
Yes.
little over 30 years of my life, which a lot of people don't know that about me. You can change names of your businesses and what,
Right.
but the work that you do, the work
Mhm.
I have done has been over 30 years of coaching individuals and helping them to build business and to understand business and understand their brand,
Yes.
understand that they are a brand. And so after working with hundreds and hundreds of people over all these years, um, I was sitting back one day and I said, what would I say are the top 10 unique things
Mhm.
that from all the people I've worked with, what
Mm.
would be the top 10 things that hold them back from their business success?
Yes.
And that is what motivated me to write the book, right? Because it was like there's common denominators in why people need coaching, why they need help. Um, Lots of different reasons, but there were kind of 10 that kind of rose up. And I
Mhm.
said, oh, yeah, these are the things. And so what I did, I said, well, I could talk through the whole book. But I said, let me go back and think about women that I've helped in their business and
Yes.
let me, or we've had conversations where I was able to shed some light on some things for them to make the light a little brighter. And let me go back and think about who would be 10 individuals that actually, these were the cloggers that at the time that they and I uh, experienced consulting or coaching together, these were the things they were dealing with at that time.
Mm.
So I also saw that in each one of these individuals, I saw a book. I saw them as potential authors, even though they themselves may not have seen them to be such.
Right.
And so I said, I'm going to have them contribute to this book.
Hmm.
One, so that they could see their own words in print and understand that
That's good.
their story is valuable.
Mhm.
And two, because what they experience and what I help them overcome tied into the
That's good.
topic of getting unclogged.
Mm.
So there are 10 that are in this book, 10 individuals that you get to hear about, where I interviewed them
That's good.
because these were the issues that they were experiencing within their own business. And I was able in some way to help
That's
them
good.
get beyond that.
Mm.
So that's really the premise of the book. Now, in the beginning of the book, it does have my story, and I told my story from the standpoint of how many times have I been unclogged,
Mm.
and telling it from the standpoint of we don't just get unclogged once in our life.
Mm.
Getting unclogged is consistent. We get stopped up consistently, and we
Yeah.
have to learn how to continue to unclog ourselves. But my point was, I've been unclogged lots of times. But
Right.
what has happened is I've learned how to get unclogged faster
Mm.
the more I do it.
Mm. Mm.
Right? And so that's the thing. The more I do it, the faster I'm able to get myself out of those situations or change my mindset quicker.
That's
And I think it's made me the ability to be more resilient, or as I say, to use my BBA, my bounce back ability.
bounce back ability. I remember so many terms that you've used along the years, the 30 years that you're talking about, because I believe I've known you every bit of over 20, if I'm not mistaken. And this transformation that I've seen, but it's been a consistent thing. It's not even a transformation. You have consistently shown up as this same person that people may see on the cover of a magazine. When you meet Monique, you're meeting this same person in person. It's not a persona, it's not a alter ego. This is Monique, and this is who she is in every aspect of her life. And so that makes it just a really authentic, fun experience, that we're not trying to pull something out of somebody to become this great individual. God said, and let me just say it this way. The word of God talks about you coming before kings and queens. Sometimes we're looking at that to be the king or queen of a country and different things. We have Queen, in my opinion, Queen Monique Stubbs-Hall, right in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so anytime an honor is bestowed upon you, I'm honored to be able to witness it, because you're making a tremendous difference in so many people's lives. And I went back and I found, this is a really, really old picture, probably, I think it was like 20 years ago. And I just want to pop it up, because these women, I'm there over there in the corner. I see Nancy, I see Raquel, I see you, Christine, Linda, LaShonda, Donna, all of y'all. I see all of these people here, Jerry, Pam. Listen, you have been a part of so many people's lives, and you've changed their lives well beyond those 10 that are in the book. So they may never appear in a book, in the book Unclogged, but you have really helped people unclog their mind. So what do you think is the reason that people get stuck in their mind so much? It's a reason behind that. What holds people back from success?
It's your life's journey.
Hmm.
I am a firm believer in and at this age, having experienced, I've been through 3 marriages, 3 divorces. I've been through, just ups, downs, turnaround, topsy turvy, all the things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that our life's journey really seriously impacts the way that we move. The reason that I feel that I have had this ability to bounce back and the resilience that I do
Mm-hmm.
is because, unlike a lot of people, I had
Wow.
a strong foundation,
Okay.
right? And I think that a lot of people aren't blessed with that.
Okay.
So if you grew up in an environment where you had you were told constantly you were nothing, you would
Right.
never amount to anything, you were, if you were physically abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused, if you had trauma, such major trauma in your formative years, right? Then that sometimes carries through your life and how you respond to things that happen to you, right? I always thank my parents, for building me. Now, some things that have happened to me in my life has been because of my own poor choices,
Right.
right? So they gave me the foundation, they gave me a spiritual background, but I had to come to a point where I made wise decisions based on that
Mm.
foundation,
Wow.
right? So whenever I chose to do it Monique's way, well, then we end up with a situation, right? So,
Your dad will
situation.
correct you. He would say a
Yes, he would. And so,
situation.
so, and so, I tell people, I'm not, because I had a strong foundation, doesn't mean that I am not privy to things happening to me
That's
that are
right.
not positive, that are not good. You know, I life hit me like it's hit many others in lots of different
That's
ways.
right.
And so most of my traumas have happened after I left my parents' house, right?
Unfortunately,
When
right?
I didn't have the shelter and the protection of them, right? It happened after I left my parents' house. And so
Right.
so there's those things impact the way that we function, the way we move, the way we think, right,
Mhm.
about ourselves. If
Wow.
even if you had a strong foundation, but you ended up marrying more narcissists, right? Well, then you're gonna end up having someone that's feeding you all these negative things. And if it's been a
Right.
long period of time that you've been with that person, you start to almost believe the things that they have been gaslighting and everything else with you about, right?
Right.
And so again, but I believe that even though I've experienced all those things, the addictive behaviors, all of these things,
Hmm.
it is the strong foundation that I had from the very beginning
Hmm.
that causes my mindset to be just a little different than maybe what some others have. And so that's where I believe that a lot of this starts. Now, there's things that create insecurities in us.
Of
The
course.
funny thing is, one of the 10 things in the book about getting unclogged is image insecurities.
Yes.
It's your lack of the ability to if you're technology challenged. Okay. It's have disorganization. These are things
Mhm.
that are in those top
Yes.
10 because these are things that cause people to not be able to be successful, right? Sometimes you just got to hire someone to help you get organized, or you need to bring in someone to help you organize your schedule, whatever that looks like, And
Good.
so there are other things that impact our mindset aside from, how we grew up and all of those things, but there are other things that also impact
That's
our
good.
ability to move forward and be successful.
Oh, I'm loving this conversation. And so, listen, the image insecurities, not being organized. If you're not organized, you can't expect to have a good outcome. Technologically, I don't even know if that's the right word, but anyway, so tell your dad, don't be judging me. Okay.
Technological, technological, yeah, difficulties
Anyway,
and
if you are not
all
technically sound, if you're not technically sound, then that's where some
it
insecurities
can
come in
cause
as
a
well.
problem.
It's going to cause a problem. And Vicky actually says that life happens to us all. Good people are not
Mhm,
exempt from life challenges, but knowing who to turn to, which is God, in challenging times. Great comments, Vicky. Thank you so much.
mhm.
She said, listen, I see another book. This is Monique. That's a
I
great.
love you, Vicky. I love you.
I love you. I love you. Vicky L. Evans is actually one of our Freestyle Friday experts here on the Kim Jacobs Show. And she actually is we call her the woman of many hats. So she comes on and
Hmm.
she talks about
Hmm.
being a domestic violence thriver, knowing your worth, being able to deal with acting and playwright and all of the awards that she's won. So I'm really honored that you took the time to be here in the studio audience, Vicky. My mom is on too, and she said, hey, that's great. Right now, I know me, and my mom is in her 70s, and who I
Come on,
am.
Mom.
She said, please do not disturb my peace. It will not and
Please
cannot
don't.
be allowed.
At all. Period. With the period. A full sentence. A
A,
full sentence.
a full sentence. And then Vicky also said, I really don't care. I just don't care basically what other people think.
Can't.
Oh
Because
my God.
there's too many lives to change. Tomorrow is not promised.
That's right.
So when you get to a certain age, you just realize like what is really important and what is not. And for me, my life has always been a life of service.
It
And
has.
so because of that, I just don't have time, energy, nor interest to be consumed in minutia.
That's right.
So my focus is who do we need to impact? Who do we need to help? How can I be more involved in my community? How can I help my children to be more well adjusted? That's my interest right now. I don't have time for any of those kind of discussions that are going to lead to nowhere.
That's some good stuff. And speaking of which, in community contributions, recognition, you were recently honored at Who's Who in Black Charlotte at the 10th anniversary celebration that was on November 7th. And you received the 2025 Most Influential Award. And it was presented by Truist Bank. And and Rhonda Caldwell is the person that spearheads the project. But I want to just talk to you and find out, what did that award mean to you to receive that honor?
Yeah, I thought it was when they sent me the visual, the graphic. I was like, wow, listing me among the 2025 most influential. I thought that was definitely humbling, for me, with so many amazing individuals in our city, that do such amazing work as well. Maybe don't get a chance to get the recognition, but for me, that just kind of represents what my motto in my life is. And my motto is, um, that I want to stop, smell the roses, pick one, and pass it on. And so, as I'm living a life of service, when I see awards or recognition like that, I just say, great. It means that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is making an impact. And so, a positive impact. Let me put that, because you can make an impact. Now, will it be
You can do
positive?
some
That's
damage
another
now.
thing. Yeah, you can do some things. So am I making a positive impact? And so if others recognize that, that's wonderful. But I'm gonna keep doing it no matter what, even if nobody recognizes it. It's the fact that I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I was there celebrating with all of the other 435 individuals who were in the who's who in Black Charlotte, publication. And I applaud every single one of them, because they are all working hard to do great work in our community.
They really are. I was so honored to be there. I lost my voice at that time, so you heard me whispering, "I'm here to support you." It's like, okay, this is ridiculous, Kim. And the doctor told me, "Hey, you're gonna need to rest your voice for a couple of weeks." I was like, "What? I don't have no time for that. I don't have nobody's time to be resting no voice for no couple of weeks." So y'all are hearing me push through, but I'm making it happen to interview you, Monique. I really wanted it to be similar time frame to when you received that honor. So listen, I want to find out too from you, how would anyone that's an entrepreneur, because you're like an extraordinaire entrepreneur extraordinaire, how would people pick a business that's in alignment with their purpose? Do you have any suggestions?
I I always tell people, when you pick a business, pick something you enjoy. Like, it's really that simple, right? Because it's funny, because I've branded myself as one brand, multiple doors.
Uh-huh.
Like Vicky, I do a lot of different things. Now, other people, and again, this has to do with what we're talking about. Other people may look at me,
Hmm.
and they say, "Oh, Monique just does too much. She's here, there." I love the people that call me and say, "Oh, you're just everywhere. I see you everywhere. I see you." And
You
I'm like,
should, because I'm
"Okay.
supposed to be
And
salting the
what?
earth.
And so what?" And so my point is, it may be a lot for you, but it's not for you.
Right.
What you see me doing is for me. It's the gifts I have, that I love every single thing I do. And I'm unapologetic about the fact that you see me here, there, and there, because for the work I do, I need to be out. What, you want me to be in my house, locked up, cooped up somewhere, and I can't impact people? No, I have chosen the career I have chosen is because I love people. So yes, I'm going to be everywhere. And I don't have a problem with that, because it's what I enjoy. I've chosen to pick a career that I love.
Yeah.
So if you have a problem with the fact that I'm everywhere, that's your problem. You need to deal
Right.
with that in your own head, because Monique doesn't have a problem with it. Monique enjoys all the things that she does, because it allows community to be a part of the things that I do, right? So I am a storyteller. I'm a storyteller in multiple ways,
Yeah.
right? So I write and creatively produce video productions of the story behind people's brands. I write and produce love of legacy stories for those who want to document their matriarchs and patriarchs having their voice heard so that it can carry on for the next generations. I curate art exhibitions. That's just storytelling on walls. I am a poet. That's just another form of storytelling. I'm a public speaker. That's another form of storytelling, right? So everything I do makes sense. One brand, multiple doors. Yes, you're going to see me everywhere. I'm unapologetic about it because I love everything I do. Can you say that about what you do?
Oh,
That's how
yes.
you pick. That's how you pick what you want as your business.
Oh,
What do you love doing? Because when it's what you love doing, it ain't work.
well, I thank you because I feel like this was a counseling session, even for me to further put a stamp of approval on the fact that I'm out here salting the earth. I'm not about to go to my grave and my gifts and my talents be angry with me because they were put in my body, as Les Brown say. I'm going to do what he talks about, live full, die empty. Salting the earth is not about one little sprinkle. It's about being out here, leaving no stone unturned to do everything that God is requiring of us to help pull some other people along this journey and help pull them out of being in a stuck mode. Girl, you done motivated me so much. Let me let you all know we're doing a training. The training, and I say we, I said like as if it's me and Monique, but no, I'm actually doing the training. The training to teach people how to start your own virtual show from scratch. So if you have a gift, you have a talent, you have a story, you're a motivational speaker, an author, all of these different things, but people don't have a place to have a one-stop shop location to connect with you. I'm doing this training that's starting in the next couple of weeks here. We only take 5 students. I have 3 already, so we have space for 2 more. And I would encourage you to go ahead and reach out 704-944-3534. It's a 6-week training, and each week we learn a component that helps you ultimately launch your audio, your video, and your television network ready show. So you are in for a tremendous treat. You can learn more by just contacting me at kimjacobshow@gmail.com or calling 704-944-3534, and I'll be happy to give you more information. Monique, grooming greatness. We got to get so many different components that we're talking about here, but your Grooming Greatness Foundation, talk to us about that too, please.
Yes, that's my heart. So you heard what my foundation was, and what I realized as I began maturing is that not all young persons have that kind of an upbringing. I had an upbringing. I didn't have a poverty upbringing. My family, we traveled all over the world. We had this thing about fine dining. It was our sport. So while other families were playing soccer and all the things, basketball and all the things, my family's sport was fine dining. And so when we traveled, that's what we did. My mother had the old school, y'all remember the AAA book, the old
Right.
school AAA book. Was it a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star,
Yes.
what city it was in, all that. And she used to mark out whatever city we were going to be traveling to.
Right.
She would have the 5-star restaurants, and then that's where we went to enjoy lots of good food. And um, so for me, because of the way I grew up, culture, fine dining, theater. We had a subscription to the Morris Mechanic Theater in DC when I was coming up, and so my sister and I, we were at operas and plays, and which is my love for the arts comes
Yeah.
from the exposure that my parents gave me. And so when I thought about other young people who just don't have that opportunity, I said, why can't I start something where, one, we're teaching our youth from underserved communities image and etiquette and you know proper speech and carriage,
Yeah.
healthy habits, including finance, budgeting, and at the same time expose them to how do you conduct yourself in the theater, taking them to the theater, leveraging my community partnerships
Mhm.
to be able to provide opportunities for these youth whose families probably could not afford. It's not a priority
Right.
for them to be going to the theater. Okay, because we know what 4 tickets to the theater for a family,
Right.
would cost. And so for me to be able to, at no charge, take them to the theater, the opera, the orchestra, to create formal atmospheres for them to be in, these are all things that I just felt this was my way to bless these youth in the community. And so I'm proud to say that this year is our 11th year operating as a nonprofit. Yeah, I love that picture. I took a group of 10 to Charleston, South Carolina for an overnight stay. It was amazing. But, grooming and etiquette, it seeps through every aspect of my life and what I pour into others because I think it's that important.
Mm.
And so, yeah, so my foundation, 11 years running here in Charlotte.
And it has been very helpful and impactful. And I've seen many young people go on to attend colleges, universities. They're receiving scholarships. They are prepared at a different level than most students because they've gone through your Grooming Greatness program. They don't have the same mindset. And it's not that they think that they're better than anybody else. They just know who they are. They
Yeah.
know who God has created them to be. And I absolutely love your program. Now, the Brooklyn Collective, I know we're cramming a bunch of topics, and that's why you really need to just be one of our Freestyle Friday experts, where you come on a Friday and you make the topics expertise, whatever it is that your area of expertise is, which is grooming greatness, unclogging, Brooklyn Collective. We'll come up with a title for you. But then you would share tips about that in a 5 to 7 minute period each time you come on. Let's just understand this Brooklyn Collective. I want to learn a little bit more about that because it
Yeah.
preserves
So,
history and building opportunity at the same time.
right. So my passion is the preservation of historic spaces, for them to be utilized for cultural experiences, visual and performing arts. And so the Brooklyn Collective, which is a collective of 3 buildings, 2 of which are historic.
Mhm.
It's called Brooklyn because 2 of these buildings are 2 of only 4 that are left from the neighborhood known as Brooklyn in Charlotte. And
Yeah.
the Brooklyn Collective sits on South Brevard Street, which was the Black Wall Street of Charlotte in the late 1800s to early
Right.
through the early to mid 1900s before it was torn down as a result of urban renewal.
Mm.
And so, having representing this block of our history here in Charlotte has just been very, very important to me, to make sure that we keep these stories alive. Because when we stop talking about our heritage, our history, it goes away. It goes
That's
away. And so I'm very privileged to be able to represent that history and tell those stories here in the Queen City.
I'm just gonna put. I was trying to save some of all of these images, but it's too many, so
Mhm.
I'm just gonna pop this up because it's so rich to be able to even see it visually. And
Mhm.
so I did it in Google search right quick so we could at least see the imagery of it. I think someone's calling your phone, Monique. So I'll see you when you come back in. But so this is the some imagery from the Brooklyn Collective, and Monique will be right back in. But you can see just the rich history and for her to have such a passion to make sure that we don't lose the connection with the Brooklyn Collective is just very endearing. There's so many things that people may normally not care about, but I love the fact that Monique cares about how great our young people are and who are they going to ultimately become. So she's helping to build a legacy and to help create in them the importance of leaving a lasting legacy for their children, which are future generations that she's impacting. And so I tell you what, I'm going to share her website too, because this website is, let me find that for you. This website is absolutely beautiful. You can learn more about Monique right here. on her website, which is MoniqueStubbs.com. And let me see. I see you backstage, Monique. I'll pull you back in. All right. Can you hear me, Monique? All right, I'm gonna put you go back out and come all the way back in. So Monique, because I'll have her share a closing comment as well when she comes back in. But she's balancing her life and was dealing with an emergency situation and stopped to still do this interview. So I just want to commend her and thank her for taking the time to even be here on this time with us here on the Kim Jacobs Show. So what I will do is I pulled up her website because I just wanted to show you. Sometimes it's always good to get a visual. Your story is the soul of your brand. It gives your business purpose, your customers, connection, and your legacy meaning. And so when you go and visit MoniqueStubbs.com, you're going to learn more about her philanthropy work, her storytelling, how she is impactful as a leader, an author, a global speaker, a moderator. If you're looking for a speaker to come to your conference, you definitely want to get Monique Stubbs to come over and speak and learn more about the different books and how she operates in media, the awards and the services. It's an endless connection when you get the opportunity to connect with Monique Stubbs-Hall. There are some other awards that she also recently, let me pull you back in, some awards that she recently received, the PLITZS Fashion Marketing Fashion Icon Award. And she is definitely a fashion icon. And here's also her speaking and hosting at an event. Let's see. She is also a Woman of Style Award, founder of Grooming Greatness Foundation. So a lot of organizations honor and recognize Monique Stubbs-Hall for her work. These are just some other images that I wanted to share because she had sent some of these beautiful pictures in. Monique, can you hear me by chance? Sometimes whenever you have to go out and come back in. So go out and come back in. But here's another beautiful award that is being presented as well. So I just wanted to make sure I put some of those up for you all. And I will tell you that I have been honored and privileged to have her on today. Let me take a moment to go back to the studio audience and see if there are any additional comments that's been coming in. Okay, I'm going to read this once she comes back on so that she can get a chance to hear it right quick. And in the meantime, I will tell you all I think she just popped back in. Let's see. All right. This is awesome. I see lots of pictures still backstage, and I'll pop some more of them up. But Monique, I'm going to bring you back in. Are you back in, Monique?
I am back in. I said, whoa, what happened?
Oh, sometimes when a phone call comes in, it'll just kick the whole thing out, or somebody send a text. Especially if you're on the phone, they do all manner of stuff. But we still together. So I do want to give you the opportunity to just acknowledge and talk about any of these beautiful pictures that were submitted.
Yes, that's my one of my grandchildren. I have three. I'm a gamma. I have three grandchildren now. I love it. That's my 4-year-old Enzo Bean. Love him.
He's so happy with grandma.
Yes. This is one of the art galleries that I curate art for, Christian Jacobs in Gastonia. That was our Unclogged conference that we just did in September. Those are my other two grandchildren. That's Peyton and Holiday. Yes, they're my heart. They are really, the why. My kids and my grandkids, those are the why. And yeah, just enjoy when I get to spend time with them.
Yeah, they would be like, I know you did not put my picture up, right?
Okay.
That would have been a whole situation. They were like, you ended the show and did not put my picture. Let me put a couple of others. I have
my kids. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where is
somebody? So I have 4 children. Yeah.
We'll pull those in. And we are going to definitely acknowledge look at this.
Yes. So these are my three of my 3 daughters. And my son, Gordon.
You have a beautiful, beautiful family. And so your daughter there is getting married?
Yes, August 8th. She just got married in August.
Oh.
And yeah, so Those are all the joys.
Now, are you doing the same thing that your parents did with you regarding your children?
Yeah, I mean, my kids, they laugh at me all the time because see, I'll check them in a minute. I'm like, is that what we're doing today? Because it's a different generation, right? And so the thing with them is they may make choices in the way that they dress and all the things because of the times we're in, and whether I like it or not, they're grown, so they do what they do. But when it's time to show up, they know how to show up, right?
Yeah.
They know how to show up. They, as my mother would say, they have brought up, see. So they know how to they know how to one thing I can say about my kids is that they know how to communicate.
Mm.
They know how to communicate, because I have taught them those skills, and they are very fluent in the way that they speak and conduct themselves, professionally. And so I love that they've carried that on. So it's a beautiful thing.
Well, people have taken an opportunity to type paragraphs. So I just want to make sure I acknowledge a couple of these final comments, and then I'll get a closing comment from you. Monique, we need to partner and have a summer camp. I'm in theater and she does instruction. She actually coached my son in acting. So she was
Hmm.
my son's acting coach as well. I'm in theater and I'm an instructor coach. If you choose to start that program, please let her know.
Sir, definitely will.
All right. Ella Sproutley said, Monique, I promise I will never say to my daughter, girl, you are everywhere, all over the place, because describing yourself, you just described my daughter. She loves salting the earth and living a full life. Kim, Vicky, and Monique continue to live a full, enjoyable life, is what she said. And then Justine said, I've been to the one on Brevard Street near the bus terminal uptown. Charlotte, great history of Brooklyn in North Carolina. I especially love it because I'm from Brooklyn, New York, where I experienced great culture, diversity that she's talking about. All right, y'all. Thank you. And thank you so much for sharing your greatness, is what Lady J also said. So, listen, everybody, it has been an honor and a privilege to be here with you today on The Kim Jacobs Show, hearing from my super special guest, Monique Stubbs-Hall. And I think that she's brought better balance to us today. If anything resonated with you and you would like to just partner with our broadcast, in order for the Kim Jacobs Show to come into your house, to bring balance into your home, to bring these special great guests, we need partners to partner with us. So we're asking if you can contribute to the Kim Jacobs Show broadcast at paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc., or you can Venmo at the Kim Jacobs Show, Zelle 704-962-7161, or become a Patreon member, patreon.com/The Kim Jacobs Show. You can also join our Mother Dreamer movement as well. So these are just some of the ways that you can contribute to the Kim Jacobs Show as well. And I thank you so much, Monique. Closing comment. How do people stay connected with you? And
Okay. First of all, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Yes, you can stay connected with me on Instagram. I just started a new account after having been shut out for over a year, but it's mo.stubbs. On LinkedIn, it is Monique Stubbs-Hall, or you can go to my website, moniquestubbs.com, and reach out to me through my contact page. I'm very accessible, and would love to connect with any of you.
so if there was one final thought that you wanted to leave, and the people that made comments, I would just encourage you to go back and listen to them, because Justine Hilliard said that she loves Brevard Street because
Hmm.
she's actually from Brooklyn, New York. So
Yeah,
she really appreciates that.
that's good stuff. Good
Well,
stuff.
thank you for sharing your greatness. And my
Oh, thank
mom,
you.
Ellis Bradley, says she promises to never tell me again that I should not be out here salting the earth. But she's apologizing. I'm going to screenshot this.
I love it.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
definitely going to
Um,
screenshot that.
m- my closing thoughts. comment is really just very simple. It's despite life's ups and downs, we must take time to enjoy the journey. We cannot live this entire life and just not have joy, not find our peace, and not find our happiness. And so, yes, we're going to have all the crazy happen, the ups and the downs, and the ebbs and the flows, and all the things. But within that, we have to acquire the ability to enjoy the journey. I've been through a lot, but I can't say every single thing has been bad times. I've had a lot of good times too. And so I've trained myself now to reflect on the goodness, all the good things, the good times. And that's what helps me to get through. So that is my encouragement to everyone. Find your joy, find your peace, and be unapologetic about it.
There you have it, everyone. Our special guest, Monique Stubbs-Hall. Don't be apologetic about your greatness and what God has given you to do. I'm so grateful that you all tuned into today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Now, we are also on WDRB Media, and I encourage you to continue to listen to WDRBmedia.com on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. I also want to let you all know that we have the Walk by Faith Network event that's coming up. It's called What God Has for You is for You. It is happening on Wednesday, November 19th from 12 to 3 p.m. We have a group of business entrepreneurs, faith-based entrepreneurs that love the Lord and love some money to be able to partner together and have business relationships. Our guest speaker is Bernice Feaster, and you can get the tickets on Eventbrite by typing in Walk by Faith Network. All right, everybody. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful.
I am appreciative of you.
How do people get your book autographed by you, not just going to Amazon? How do they get an autographed copy of this book?
They would have to order it online. Okay. And then connect with me, and I would be happy to meet them and sign it for them.
Oh, look at that. Y'all can't get curbside assistance. Thank you, Monique, for blessing us, because it's been a beautiful time that we've spent together today. And I love you and I appreciate you.
Love you too. And thank you so much. And thank you.
All right, everybody. That's today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Tune in again Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs Show. Have a great one, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you and make it a great day.